Imagine logging into your computer on a Monday morning. You don't open a web browser. You don't open an email client or a spreadsheet.
You just speak into a single unified interface.
Right. You tell it you need to prepare for your quarterly review, book a flight to Chicago, and generate a data visualization. And before you've even taken a sip of your coffee, that single interface has autonomously executed all three of those tasks across the internet. Welcome to episode 530 of AI Brief. I'm Amin, and alongside me is Leah.
Hello, everyone.
Today we are looking at a tectonic shift in the landscape, specifically reports that OpenAI is preparing to turn ChatGPT into an inescapable super app. We also have some wild breakthroughs in science today, everything from precision gene editing at the embryo stage to the world's fastest business jet to a major spinal cord treatment frenzy in Brazil.
And a really terrifying four-winged dinosaur.
Oh, definitely. And then we will promise you a rundown of today's top trending productivity tools.
Because today's underlying theme is really it's system upgrades, whether it's upgrading our software platforms to handle an entire workflow natively, or upgrading human biology to just erase inherited diseases, or, simply upgrading your daily productivity. For those of you listening, we know you need to cut through the noise and get straight to the transformative facts. So our mission for this deep dive is to map out the architecture of your future.
So let's dive straight into those digital platform upgrades. According to new reports from the Financial Times and Reuters, OpenAI is preparing the single biggest redesign of ChatGPT since it launched.
Which is saying something.
It really is. They are moving aggressively away from that simple chatbot interface we all know. They are pushing toward a full super app model. And this is all happening ahead of a potential public listing.
And understanding why that matters requires looking at the broader platform war. I mean, OpenAI is in a dead sprint against Anthropic, Google, Microsoft. They want to own your everyday workflow.
Exactly. Think of it like the evolution of the smartphone. The phone used to just make calls. Now it is the front door for the entire internet. OpenAI wants ChatGPT to be that front door.
So this redesign is going to feature much deeper coding tools. Their Codex engine is getting a lot more prominence. We are going to see AI agents, image generation, and third-party partner integrations, things like Canva and Booking.com.
Let's unpack that specific part, because, if I'm using Booking.com through this interface, what actually changes for me?
The execution layer changes. Right now, you might ask for a travel itinerary and you get a nice text list, but then you still have to go open a new tab and input your credit card.
You do the manual labor.
Right. But in a super app model, the interface handles it all natively. You say, book the cheapest flight to Chicago for next Tuesday. The underlying agent talks to Booking.com, processes the payment, and hands you a boarding pass right there in the chat. You never leave the ecosystem.
And from an enterprise perspective, if they are pushing to grow revenue before an IPO, they want you completely reliant on their infrastructure. They capture the entire value chain.
If they succeed, it stops being just an AI app and becomes the operating surface for all work and commerce.
Well, that push to upgrade our digital operating systems is mirrored by some massive real-world upgrades in science and transport today. And I'm going to hand the floor over to you to lead us through these details, because the biology stuff is wild.
It really is. Let's start with Columbia University. Scientists there have achieved a major breakthrough in precision gene editing on human embryos. They used a technique called base editing, which is a very precise successor to CRISPR.
Wait, I think a lot of us are familiar with CRISPR. It's always described as molecular scissors, right? How does base editing differ from that?
That molecular scissors analogy is the exact problem here. CRISPR works by literally cutting through the double helix of the DNA. When you do that to an embryo, the cell panics. Yeah, it often results in catastrophic chromosomal shattering or these massive unintended deletions. It is like trying to fix a typo in a book by ripping the whole page out. Base editing avoids that entirely. It uses enzymes to act more like a molecular find and replace function.
So that doesn't sever the strand at all?
Not at all. It chemically alters a single letter of the genetic code without breaking the double helix. Obviously, this is years away from clinical use, but it could make inherited diseases obsolete before a pregnancy even begins.
That is just profound. But speaking of radical biological interventions, there is another medical phenomenon unfolding in Brazil right now.
Yes, the spinal cord treatment frenzy. This is about polylaminin. It is a placenta-derived protein for nerve regeneration. When injected into a severe spinal cord injury, it acts like a biological bridge. It encourages severed nerve fibers to grow right through dense scar tissue.
And the response has been explosive, right?
Massive international frenzy, celebrity endorsements, lawsuits for access. It's largely driven by a specific early patient who made a full recovery from a broken neck.
Okay, wait. I have to push back here as the co-host. Isn't there a huge risk here, given that the Brazil treatment is only in phase 1 safety trials?
You are entirely correct to be skeptical. Scientists are desperately warning that the excitement is premature. Phase 1 is just to make sure the drug doesn't kill you. It does not prove it works across a broad population.
So the lawsuits forcing access could actually derail the whole scientific process.
Exactly. But it shows how desperate people are for physical upgrades. Which brings us to our physical transport upgrades. Bombardier just set a transatlantic speed record with their Global 8000 business jet, Montreal to Nice, in just over 6 hours.
6 hours. What kind of speed are we talking about?
It tops out at Mach 0.95.
That is pushing right up against the sound barrier.
It completely redefines transonic flight, and it has an 8,000 nautical mile range, so you can connect almost any 2 cities on Earth without refueling. It basically compresses the globe.
That is wild. But wait, we still have one more mystery from the physical world to cover.
Yes, the dinosaur predator. For years, paleontologists at a Chinese fossil site kept finding crushed berg bones, and they finally found the culprit. It was a massive 4-winged gliding microraptor.
4 wings? How does a creature with 4 wings even fly without getting tangled up? That sounds aerodynamically impossible.
Well, it wasn't powered flight like modern birds. It had long flight feathers on its arms and legs, and it used them to glide silently between trees. The legs acted as a secondary lifting surface and a rudder.
Oh, so it can make really tight turns in the forest canopy.
Exactly. It hunted early birds, which actually sheds light on how those modern birds evolved. They were pressured to develop powered flight to escape into the open sky and outlast their dinosaur relatives.
It is an evolutionary arms race. I love that. Well, look, we can't rewrite our own genetics or commute at Mach 0.95 just yet, but we can upgrade our daily productivity right now. Let's look at the day's top trending AI tools that let you build an autonomous digital back office.
These are the tools that bring that Superapp concept right to your desktop.
First up is the Mina Meeting Assistant. Now, we all know AI note takers, but Mina is an AI teammate for calls.
So it does more than just transcribe.
Much more. Instead of just taking notes, it actively responds and executes tasks while you are still in the meeting. If a client asks for a document, Mina goes and gets it before you even hang up.
That is incredible.
Then there is SocialEcho 2.0. This is an AI social media copilot, perfect for marketing teams.
Does it handle scheduling?
Scheduling, formatting, drafting, you give it a core message, and it autonomous streamlines the entire campaign management across every platform. Next is something physical, the Dune Keypad.
I was looking at this one. It's a context-aware Mac keypad, right?
Exactly. It utilizes Claude in community mods.
Yeah.
You press a single physical button on your desk, and it triggers incredibly complex workflows. It brings AI into the physical workspace.
Which I think a lot of people will love.
Then for data security, we have Databox MCP. This lets you chat with your business data.
Securely.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to dump company metrics into a public model.
Right, securely. You pull specific company metrics inside environments like ChatGPT or Claude without exposing your data. Then we have a tool simply called Folk, which puts AI in your texts.
Like SMS text messages.
Yes, it manages contacts and executes tasks directly through your native text messaging. And finally, Typeahead. This is AI autocomplete for Mac.
So it works outside the browser.
Everywhere. It speeds up typing natively across every single application on the computer. It learns your voice, whether you are in Slack, an email, or a document.
And you know, if you chain these specific tools together, you essentially get a fully autonomous digital back office. It perfectly mirrors those Superapp ambitions from OpenAI that we discussed earlier.
It really does. It is incredible to step back and look at the sheer velocity of today's developments. I mean, from OpenAI pushing for total workflow dominance to literally rewriting human DNA to transatlantic speed records.
It's a lot to process in one sitting.
It is. And it leaves me with this thought for you to mull over. If AI is becoming the single interface for all software and base editing becomes the interface for our biology, we have to ask ourselves, in a decade, what parts of our daily lives won't be run through a manufactured superlayer?
That is a very big question.
A big question for a deep dive. Make sure to follow and share AI briefs so you never miss these updates. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening.